What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we are ranking all of the Lillingtons and Teenage Bottlerocket albums. If it's your first tier list with us, what we're going to do is talk about each of these 13 records, starting at Shit Out of Luck and ending with Six Sesh. And we could put a maximum of 2 albums in our S tier. And for every other tier, we need to have at least 2 and no more than 3. And we did something a little different this time. A week or so ago, I put out a vote on Discord and Instagram of where you guys would rank these albums. So we're going to be referencing that along the way. Dylan and Lewis have not seen the results, so we'll see their reactions as they go. I could tell you that I only have 2 that were the same as the community vote. So I'm ready for some backlash, especially on an album I think some people call the greatest pop punk album of all time. But I'm joined by Mr. Bottlerocket, that's Screeching Bottlerocket, Dylan from DyingScene.com. Dylan, you've been wanting to do this for a while. Was this an easy list for you, or did you find yourself with some tough decisions?
No, I pretty much made my decision right off the bat and set it and forget it.
And Lewis is a Lillingtons fan, a known Lillington supporter. And this was the first time you really delved into the Teenage Bottlerocket discography?
No, I mean, I'd listened to a lot of the albums at least part of the way, and some of them much more than others, but this gave me a chance to kind of hit some of the ones I had passed over. So it was good in that regard.
All right, so let's get into it here. The first album we're going to rank is by the Lillingtons, of course. This is Shit Out of Luck. Came out back in 1996 on Clearview Records. In my opinion, this is the clear black sheep of the Lillingtons catalog. But Dylan, what are your thoughts on this record here?
The songs are S tier, the production is D tier, and the album is A tier. Yeah, I mean, I think the songs are good enough to overcome the production shortcomings. I can already tell John is going to have this a lot lower than I am. But yeah, I mean, you have Lillington High. I don't think she cares. Kevin is a lunatic. I got screwed again. Great album, lousy production, but I mean, it is what it is.
Damn. All right. Lewis, are you going to be joining Dylan up in the A tier? What do you think of this one?
I mean, no. I think I had a really hard time getting past the production quality on this one. And I mean, I like the songs, but I don't really think they compete with like any of the later Lillington stuff. So I really can't give it an extra boost. And like, you didn't Ramble On, I think, is my favorite song on this record. So they're really far there in the B side as well. So it took me a while to find it. So I'm going to give this one my lowest rank. I'll just give a little lowest ranking of Lillington's record, going D. So.
All right. And I am also in D. The thing is that like it's not a terrible album, but in this whole catalog here, this is without a shadow of a doubt the one I would probably listen to least. But I appreciate it for what it is. This is a decent debut album, but this is a firm D. And I don't feel too bad because this is one of 2 that the public agrees with us, or they agree with Lewis and I. This was the number 11th rank Teenage Bottlerocket / Lillingtons album, which landed in the D tier. So
no love for my genitals itch, huh? What's going on, people?
Yeah, Dylan, you're on an island for this one. But we'll move on to album number 2. We've got Death by Television, again by the Lillingtons. Came out a couple years later in 1999. Totally switched up the sound. This is the one I was talking about. Fat Mike has called this the greatest pop punk album of all time. I think Lewis may agree. So, Lewis, I'll pass this one to you first. What are your thoughts here, and where is this album going?
I mean, I agree. It's one of the greatest pop punk albums of all time. And honestly, I thought this was going to be an easy S for me, but I decided to restrict the bands to one S per band. So I'm actually going to put this one in A. It's one of my favorite pop punk records of all time, but there's another Lillingtons that I happen to like a lot more. And yeah, I'm going to put this one in A, but obviously a classic record, like one of my favorites. So yeah.
Man, if I placed a bet on this episode, I would 100% have had that as your S tier Lillington. So that's a surprise. But Dylan, what about you? Where are you putting this one?
Yeah, we'll go with the crowd and put Death by TV in the S tier. I think Mr. Mike is being a bit hyperbolic, saying this is the greatest pop punk album of all time. I can probably think of like 5 or 6 that are better than it. But yeah, I mean, this is the Lillingtons album. It's got like their biggest songs, Black Hole in My Mind. I mean, I don't think any of the other records have songs with now there's a few that have over 1 million, but this is the one with the most of them, so S tier.
All right. Yeah, Black Hole in My Mind and War of the Worlds are awesome songs. So the public has this as the number 2 album overall. So this is in the S tier for our viewers. I went back and forth. I honestly think this may be my like number 3 or 4 Lillingtons record, but I'm gonna go B on this one. I feel like it falls off a bit on the back end in the middle. Like I was kind of like but like I mean it starts amazing. Like those first few songs are really, really good. But it's gonna land in my B tier. I know it's gonna offend some people, but personal opinions here only. No sway.
All I can say is I hope the Lillingtons fans have more mercy than the Blink-182 fans did.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever do another Blink video. I don't know if my ego could take it. But Dylan, I'll go to you next here. We've got our 3rd straight Lillingtons album. We've got Back Channel Broadcast from 2001.
Yeah, this is a pretty clear step in the wrong direction, in my opinion. I get that Ramones core, and especially the Lillingtons, like, all the songs pretty much sound the same, but man, this album really, I think 90% of the songs are in the same key and start with the same chord progression, where it's just that one chord for the first 4 bars of the song before the vocals come in. Yeah, very forgettable album. Just really not a fan of this record, to be honest. C tier.
Okay, C tier. So I like this album. I feel like Mind Control and The Kids are like 2 of my favorite Lillington songs, but you're 100% right that this thing gets incredibly repetitive. Like by track 6 or 7, you already can hear the pattern. But I kind of feel like this and Death by Television are not that far apart. For me, I'm going to get killed for that. But I'm going to put this also in B, right next to Death by Television. I have very similar feelings about both of them. But I really like this album. The Kids and Mind Control. If you don't know the Lillingtons, those I would definitely recommend you check them out. But Lewis, what about you? We got a B and a C so far.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys both said. This one I feel like is a big step down from For the Worlds. It's just all the reasons you said, the repetitiveness, but it also just sounds like a mess to me. I don't know if I'm being overly critical, but it just sounds so muddy. I just don't enjoy it. It doesn't sound as clean as the other one. So I'm going C as well. This is one that I would not really go back and listen to very often, maybe outside of like the 1 or 2 songs.
And I want to say Final Transmission's a pretty good song. Didn't mention that.
They're okay. The songs are okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Panic Button was running out of that Lookout money at this point, so they couldn't put as much into the production.
Yeah, that's right. This was the last one on Panic Button, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we finally now are getting to our first Teenage Bottlerocket album. We've got Another Way from 2003. I was trying to find out where the Lillingtons and Teenage Bottlerocket started to like become one-ish, and I saw that Brandon had drummed on the Back Channel broadcast tour. So I feel like that was the kind of beginning. We're lumping these bands together because obviously Cody is in both. I'll go first on this one. This is my other D tier album. I think B Stag is an incredible song, but I know people like Mini Skirt and there's a couple of songs. People were telling me, because I had mentioned in the Discord that I was thinking this was a D, and they kept saying, go back, listen, but they didn't like it that much either because it's the number 9 total album and it's in their C tier, but it's a D for me. Lewis, what do you think of Another Way?
Yeah, I agree. It is filling the spot of my other D. I was actually really curious to see what Dylan thought of this one, because this is the only album without Cody on it, right? So
yeah,
I guess this is an interesting one. So I'd like to hear what Dylan thinks about it, but it just doesn't, like, it seems like this band would have probably petered out or just not really been very popular if they hadn't had Cody to it. But I'm curious about your take.
What do you think, Dylan?
I agree with the people. It's a C tier album for me. This is their most Ramones-y sounding record. It sounds like the Ramones more than any other Teenage Bottlerocket album. Production is absolutely catastrophically bad. Couldn't figure out how to say that word. But yeah, B Stag's pretty good. Senior Prom, Rebound. The title song, it's hard to get past the production, though. That being said, the second Clearview or Red Scare or whoever reissues this, I'm going to buy like 6 fucking copies, probably.
Is the one in the box set still terrible quality, too?
I don't have that box set. I passed on that.
All right, so...
Did you say D or C, Dylan?
C is in Carlitos.
Oh, okay. I thought you said D too. Okay.
I'm wondering what Dylan's D's are going to be. So we'll move on. We'll give this next one to Dylan. Another Teenage Bottlerocket. We got Total from 2005. They move over to Red Scare Records. And this was my first album I heard by the band. So, Dylan, what do you think of this one?
Big time step in the right direction. First album with Mr. Templeman, and I think he righted the ship big time. This is A tier album for me. I'm curious where people put this, but you got Radio, Bloodbath at Burger King, Fall For Me, Stupid Games, Veronica, Repeat Offender. Great album. A tier.
A tier for Dylan, and the people put this one in the A tier also. It's the number 4 overall album, according to the public. So, Lewis, with that said, what are your thoughts on this one?
It's not A, but it's a B for me, for sure. I like this record a lot. This was the one that I had not really listened to, because I went back and I listened to some of the older stuff after hearing stuff that came out in the late 2000s, I guess. And I just never went back to this one. This one was really good. I think for all the reasons you said, it's a big step forward. And I love Lost in Space. I kind of just still love like the weird Lillington style songs on a lot of these records, but whatever. I'm good with it in a B tier.
All right. I'm going... So this one and the next Bottlerocket album, not the next album, I have been like struggling this whole time. Which one's gonna go B? Which one's gonna go C? And I listened again today, and I think just the production on the next Bottlerocket puts it slightly above for me. So I'm ready for the pitchforks to come out for this one too. I'm putting Total in the C tier. I think Radio is one of their best songs. I think So Cool is a great song, but overall, after listening, we've been planning this one out for like a month. and that's where I'm confident in putting total. So we'll go back now to the Lillingtons with Too Late Show. I don't think they actually reformed. I think they just kind of wrote this album and put it out, didn't tour or anything. So it's kind of an interesting concept. All I hear is Static is 2.8 million. I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah.
But Lewis, I'll let you take this one. Too Late Show from 2006. What are your thoughts?
It's a countdown to the end of the world. Target.
So when I said I had an album that I like better than War of the Worlds, it is the Too Late Show. This is my first S tier. I love this record. I love every song. I feel like it's more consistent throughout. Dylan's going to disagree pretty strongly. It looks like he's already shaking his head. But I love
the album.
Okay. No, but notable standouts for me actually towards the back end. I mean, I love Vaporize My Brain. I love Zombies. And then I love Stay Tuned. Is such a good closer. And all I hear is Static is fine. This album rocks. So this is going to be my first S tier.
All right, Dylan. So you were nodding to the songs and not against Lewis, or do you?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear your thoughts then.
I'm listening to some songs from the albums as we talk about them. Yeah, I mean, this is a really strong Lillingtons record. I'm gonna make call an audible here. I had another Lillingtons album ranked above this, but this will be my second A-tier Lillingtons album. Yeah, I mean, as a whole, like, for whatever reason, it's overshadowed by Death by Television retroactively. I think it's pretty much as good. There's great songs like Mars vs. Hollywood, and some like more interesting songs like The Augur's Tale. But I really like Lillington songs about like the Soviet Union and like aliens and shit. And this album has a lot of them. So. Yeah. The Too Late Show A-tier. Fun fact, Stay Tuned was co-written or completely written by Ben Weasel. So if you buy one of the recent repressings of this album, that song is not on here.
One thing I should note is I've been calling the first album War of the Worlds, which it's not. That's not the name of the album, by the way. I just caught myself saying that over and over. So I apologize. So there you go. So, sorry, John. Go on.
I didn't even notice, so I'm glad.
That song's not even on the album.
All right.
No. I called the first album War of the Worlds.
Oh, okay.
That is not the name. It is Death by Television. So comment section, leave me alone. I know what it's called.
All right. I'm also in the A tier. I was so worried that you guys were gonna kill me for saying this is better than Death by Television, because I was like looking online everywhere, like nobody, like this album's not really spoken of in high regard. It's always Death by Television, but I think this is the superior album and it sounds fantastic too. You got Target Earth, The Augur's Tale. I'm glad that Dylan shouted that out. That's a banger. And Do It USSR. This is a great album. So it's my first A tier record. The Public has this as a B tier album as number 6 overall. So higher, well, they're showing it some love.
That's where I had it originally. So pretty close, pretty tight race here.
Yeah. I didn't actually, I don't know what you guys picked, obviously. So I'm curious which of you is going to be closer to The Public when we wrap up. So let's get there. We've got another Teenage Bottlerocket now. We've got Warning Device, which came out in 2008. And this is the one, I'll just go first because I was going between B and C with this in total. And I think that overall it's the much better production on this one that puts it over total for me. They've got Bottlerocket, like the anthem song. On My Own. I don't have a lot pinned on it, but it's just like one of those ones you just put it on and then 30 minutes later it's over, and it's all pretty good. So this is gonna be my B tier. So my B tier is now full. Dylan, I'll pass this one to you. Warning Device. What are you gonna do with it?
That's why I don't wanna go down in the basement.
Yes, I am joining you in the B tier. on this album. The production is better, but I think the songs on total are better. Bottlerocket's good. In the Basement, She's Not the One, Pacemaker, Nut House. But on the whole, I think Total's a better songs.
Okay. And Lewis?
Let's make it a three-way split here, guys. I'm putting this in that same tier as y'all. So I like this record too. Nut House, I think, is my favorite one on this. It's like sometimes some of these lyrics by Cody, it reminds me of like Off With Their Heads, but positive and fun to listen to. So, but I like a lot of his darker content songs. So yeah, this is a good record. I'm gonna give it a B tier.
All right. So I said there were two that I was with the public on. This was one, and we are all with them on Warning Device. This was number 5 overall in the B tier for the public. So there we go. Everybody sees eye to eye on Warning Device as a middle tier TBR Lillingtons album. So let's we've got a heavy hitter coming up. At least in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people really like this album. They Came From the Shadows from 2009. This is like, they kind of blew up when this came out, at least the way I'm remembering things. This is the first one on Fat, I believe. And the public has this number 1 overall. Just so you guys know, this is S tier. This had the most votes of any album. We had 90 voters actually come in from Instagram and Discord, so pretty big sample size. And this was number 1 by a wide margin. So Lewis, what do you think? You agree with the public, or you got a different opinion here?
We'll live our lives in alcoholic bliss, living bigger than kids.
I am with the public on this one. This is my second and final S tier. This is a excellent record. I think you're probably right, because this is the time when I became pretty aware of them and heard their stuff, and I started hearing them around. Earlier days in 2009, a little bit harder to hear bands, but Not Okay, Call It Sick. I mean, Bigger Than Kiss. I mean, like all these songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going S tier on this one. This whole album just is a banger from beginning to end. So
yeah, Bigger Than Kiss is my favorite, I think, on the album. I love that song.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you think? Are you with the public? Or are you standing alone?
I am with the people. This is the best album on this list. Yeah, I mean, I could pick out songs, but I love every single song on the album. This is their most like Lillingtons-ish album with the sci-fi themes and stuff on some of the songs. But yeah, this fantastic album. Little aside here, I was taking I was doing driving school to get my learner's permit, and I would bring this CD in the car and listen to it on repeat for like 2 hours every single time I had the driving school.
Oh my god. How old does that make you feel?
The instructor probably went insane.
I do, yeah. Because I was graduating college when this album was out. So
I was getting my master's when Dylan was listening to this with his student driver. Great, yeah.
All right. Well, I've said that I only had 2 with the public, so I don't have this in my S tier, but it's a high A. It's an A plus. If we had 3 S, this would be up there. But I like one Bottlerocket album slightly more, and it's kind of funny because Dylan, his A and his S are full, so I know that Dylan and I are gonna have a big disagreement.
We may have a falling out here.
Yeah, because my S is this one, the next one here. I think this is their best album. Freak Out, Headbanger, Cruising for Chicks, Maverick, Mutilate Me was a single. I just love this album. I was reading online, like, people don't really care for this one. I don't know if it's this vibrant cover or what, but this is like the first one that, like, I liked all the Bottlerocket stuff before this. This is the first one I like loved. So this is my number 2 overall album on the board and my first S tier. So Dylan, this is gonna like cap out at B for you. So how far apart are we?
If we don't pull together soon, we'll get our name on the plaque in the ladies' room.
This is a C tier album for me. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just it's not as nearly as memorable as Shadows. Maverick is definitely the standout song for me. I don't know, like Cruising for Chicks. Like, really, you called that out? Like,
I love that song. I like
I hate
it.
that song.
What about Headbanger? Headbanger is amazing.
That's okay.
it's pretty good. That was a sax song actually. So
Damn. All right, Lewis, are you more with me or more with Dylan?
I guess I'm closer to you because this is going in my A tier. So I like this album quite a bit as well. It is definitely my second favorite TBR album. I think one mistake that you had there was that you don't have Summertime pinned, because I think that's a pretty awesome song as well. But this album has a lot of good tracks. So yeah, pretty strong. I don't think it's quite as strong as the previous record, but pretty good.
Okay. We've got the same top two albums at least. Public has this at... Oh, the Public has it in the B tier, number 7 overall. So I'm not that far off. But we'll move on here. We're getting near the end. We've got another Bottlerocket album. We got Tales from Wyoming. Kate, when did Freak Out? Was it 2012? I feel like this is the biggest gap between albums, which is weird because they just rewrote the first song. Freak Out and In My Head are like the exact same song. But I like this one quite a bit. Lewis, we seem to be on the same page with Bottlerocket, so let me hear what you're going to do with this one.
Too much like a leader. I had it 15 times since the last time that I seen you.
Yeah, I like this one too. Not nearly as much as the other one. I'm looking at the track list now, so I don't have it in front of me, have it up there, but definitely I like Dead Saturday. Nothing Else Matters is quite good. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one, and I have it here on my list. I'm gonna give this one a B. I mean, it's good. It wasn't as good as the other two. I'm curious to see what you guys think.
All right, Dylan. Again, you're capping out at B, so where is Tales from Wyoming gonna end up?
it's in B. Yeah, I mean, there's songs on here that I like slightly more than Freak Out. I think both records are pretty much neck and neck for me. But Nothing Else Matters is good. Dead Saturday, Been Too Long, Can't Quit You.
Oh yeah, okay.
Pretty good songs. There's a few stinkers like fucking They Call Me Steve.
Yeah.
I have no clue why they play that live still.
It's like a top 5 song for them, I think.
Yeah, because it's probably on these like Minecraft playlists or some shit. But yeah, I was confused at the time because the music video is just like a very odd Minecraft screen recording. I don't really understand. But anyway, pretty good record. B tier.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is that what that song is about? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Steve
Oh my
is
God.
the main character in Minecraft. He's like the default character he plays.
I guess I should know this because I'm the video game guy, but I did not know this. I'm listening to this song going, what the hell is this song about? Okay, good. Thank you for
I don't really.
putting that out.
It's kind of out of place on here, but maybe it has something to do with Ray's son or something. Maybe like Minecraft. Yeah, I think this is Brandon's last album, wasn't it? R.I.P.
I think so.
Brandon.
Yeah, I think so. But I agree with pretty much both of you guys. I think, like you guys said, They Call Me Steve is the worst song on here. Nothing Else Matters, the Metallica song, awesome. Too Much La Colina is probably my favorite. Can't Quit You. I mean, I'm going A with this one. It's my number 3 Bottlerocket record. It looks like I have more songs pinned from this one from the other ones, which is weird. But I guess I would have had Spotify when this was released. So I'm going to chalk it up to that and slot this into my A tier. So here's how we look so far. Dylan's D tier is totally empty. Lewis and I both with space in the C tier. So let's move on. We've got the return of the Lillingtons. Finally, after 11 years, we get Stella Sapiente. That is the best you're going to get out of me with the pronunciation. I think I'm right. All right, guys. So I'll go first here because I could tell that I'm different than you guys and maybe different from the public. And real quick, public had Wyoming in the A tier, number 3 overall. Actually, that's a pretty big surprise. And public has this as number 10 overall in the C tier. I'm going to say it, guys, this is the best album on the list. That's my opinion. And I love this record. I loved it from the very first time I heard it. I love like this album has like a weird vibe, dark, esoteric vibe to it. And I just love it. I listen to this still pretty regularly. My wife's downstairs. She's saying this is number 1 for her also. She's shouting it up. So S tier, best album on the list. It's going in the S tier. And Dylan, I'll let you go, man, because I know you seem like you're gonna be with the public. You're gonna break my heart on this one. So let me hear what you don't like about it.
My will be done in the pursuit of pleasure.
No, this was gonna be A tier before I moved the Too Late Show up. I think it's great for completely different reasons than Too Late Show. And honestly, if I had a 4th spot in the A tier, in the A tier, it would still be in there. This is their most like well-rounded. It's like a concept album. They really lean into like you said, the esoteric themes or whatever, fucking ancient aliens. It's an awesome album, and it's impossible to listen to without listening the whole way through.
It's so, I feel like even the guitar work is so much better. It's not like any of the other Lillingtons, but it still feels like a spiritual successor.
It's art. It's not punk rock. It's art.
All right, Lewis, you and I have talked about this album quite a bit, so I have an idea of where you're going to put it, but let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be my last A, I think. So it is an incredible album for all the reasons you said. It feels like a very like a concept album, like trying to make art versus just making music, which is kind of funny, like because Project 313 is a lot of the standard fare, right, Dylan? And that came out like right before this.
Yeah, the 7-inch.
It's so strange, like the release, but yeah, I mean. John, you didn't have a pin, but I really like Insect Nightmares too. That's a really good song that seems a little bit more straight ahead, like older Lillingtons. But then there's all the dark, moody stuff on here that's great. Like Pursuit of Pleasure, I think, is my favorite track on the whole album. Yeah, this album rocks. So yeah, let's go. I'm solid with an A there. It's real close to Death by Television, not War of the Worlds. So
music to behead goats to.
So Lewis, when you put Lillingtons in A and you had said that you only had one album by each band in the S tier, my mind was like, he finally flipped on this one, but I'll take it. So is it your number 3 Lillingtons album then?
It's pretty close. I think it's settled into a solid 2 and 3 jockeying rally, depending on the day I'm having. But I really love the Too Late Show. It's really good. So it's going to take top tier.
Man, cannot get behind the public at number 10 overall. That's it hurts. All right, so we've got, I think if I'm mathing correctly here, we've got 2 albums left, and everybody can see what Dylan thinks of these albums. But let's hear it from him. We've got Stay Rad, which came out in 2019. We're back to Teenage Bottlerocket. Dylan, let's hear your thoughts here on this one.
Yeah, so this one specifically is my least listened to Teenage Bottlerocket album. One of the only ones I didn't buy upon its release. I don't think I've listened to the whole album, to be honest with you, but what I have listened to was enough. Culprit number 1, Wild Hair Across My Ass, D tier.
Yeah. All right. Lewis, what about you on Stay Rad?
Well, I only have spots left in C, so it's going to go there. But I'm trying to look at the track list to see if there's anything that I like. I Want to Be a Dog's okay. I Want to Kill Clint Carlin's not bad, I guess, but some redeeming stuff on this. But yeah, not a record that I really like either. So I'm pretty comfortable going in C and leaving it there.
Bonus points if anyone knows who Clint Carlin is and what band he played in.
I'm not getting any points. But
he's their roadie, and he played in Stat Dad.
Yeah,
with Miguel.
Zero chance I was gonna get that. So when we decided we were doing this, I had immediately lumped the last two albums into D also, but I'm gonna go C on this one. Just I don't think these last two albums are very good. I don't think I have a single song pinned from either one of them. But if I'm doing this like objectively, I am much more likely to listen to these last two than both of their debut albums, just because of the way they sound sonically. I think the songs overall are better on the others, the D tier albums, but I just can't get behind it. It's just not up to snuff sonically for me. So I'm putting both of these last two albums, I'll just group them together since we're running short on time. In C, I feel pretty similar about both of them. Lewis, you're nodding in agreement. What do you think of? Oh, I actually have two pinned on here. I did not know that on Six Sesh. But what are your thoughts here?
Surprisingly, Guerrilla Warfare is one of them. I don't know what that's about, but a classic such as The Squirrel. Yeah, this album's not that good. It's a C. It's okay. Mm-hmm. One thing on the last album that we didn't cover though, the vocal performance on that one, does it remind you a bit of Stella Sapiente a little bit? Like it seems like he was trying to sing similar ways sometimes. I don't know. I was getting those vibes. Sorry to go on a tangent, but go on and shit on this one a little bit and we can talk about that.
Yeah, Dylan, let's hear.
I think this is the better of the two. Yes. Stay Rad and Six Sesh, the two punctuated album titles. Yeah, it's still not very good. I just think they're really phoning it in on these albums, and I get that their whole thing is Ramones core sound. Every song sounds pretty similar, so you'll run out of ideas at some point. But it really just sounds like they're like you know that game where you just like point at something on your desk or whatever, and then try to like make up a story or some shit. I guess in this case, make a song about it. Like, it's very uninspired, like semi truck. Like, I don't really get it.
That song sucks. Yeah.
There's one interesting piece here, and I don't have it in front of me, so I could be wrong. But there was that single that Going Back to Wyo on it. That song's a banger. That would have been the best song on either one of these albums. I don't know if that was before these. I feel like it came out in between them. But yeah, I
do want to say Strung Out on Stress. It sounds like a Death by Television era Lillingtons song. That song's pretty good. But I mean, the album starts with Semi Truck, and that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth when I didn't listen to it until I got the record, and I put it on. I was like pretty much instantly bored.
Yeah. So just to hit these quick, the public has Stay Rad number 12 overall and Six Sesh number 13 overall. So guys, I'm going to read just everyone's votes. Dylan, you're actually like pretty damn close to the public here.
I'm a man of the people.
S tier, according to Discord and Instagram, They Came From the Shadows, Death by Television. So
all right,
lockstep
1 point
with
for
Dylan.
Dylan and Lewis.
A tier, what is the Tales from Wyoming and Total? So 1 point for me, 1 point for Dylan. Then B tier's got Warning Device, which we all have, Too Late Show, and Freak Out. So that's the most different one.
Off the rails.
And C tier, Back Channel Broadcast, Another Way, Stella Sapiente, and then D, Shit Out of Luck, Stay Rad, Six Sesh. So Dylan, I think, is by far the closest, unless I'm mathed wrong. But yeah, and I only had 2. Lewis, I think you had 4. I don't know if you're keeping track. But it was interesting. I'm definitely going to add this wrinkle in to the next ones, whichever band.
Little did you know I voted in the poll 50 times using different IP addresses.
It would make sense. Especially with that Stella thing, man. What is going on? I need some explanations from the Discord after we record this. But do we have a band picked out for next yet, or no? We haven't talked about it.
Avril Lavigne.
Avril Lavigne.
I mean, you know, in the spirit of a band that keeps putting out the same record over and over, we could revisit Pennywise with me and Dylan this time.
We could. Dylan, are you not a Pennywise fan?
I don't know, man. They're kind of boring.
That's terrible. I disagree.
That was
that would be funny to do the same tier list over and over again.
It's like I feel like listening to Pennywise at this point, it would be similar to going to like fucking 24-hour fitness and listening to some dudes like talk politics.
I don't know. I love Pennywise is like a top 5 band for me. So
bro, society, the government, they're fucking us, dude.
Dylan, you flip that hat behind you, I'll turn you into a Pennywise fan. It's the best. So,
get some Oakley blades.
Dude, I was Mr. Pennywise when we were younger. I love Pennywise.
Volcom t-shirt.
Oh, hey, come on. Volcom's still cool. I refuse to believe Volcom isn't cool. But that's going to do it, guys. We don't have a tier list picked out, if you couldn't tell, but we do have top 5 Less Than Jake songs coming up probably a few days after this, and our Fat Wreck bracket, which is, we're doing voting on that too. There is in the Discord, which there will be a link down below. We have yet to record episodes 5 and 6, but voting is open on those. We have the bracket filled out just how it looks. We did it like a week or so in advance so you guys can vote. And if we're torn on something, maybe we can use your vote to push one over the edge. But that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. And make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Helps other punk rockers find the channel. And yeah, if you have an idea for a band you want us to do next time, make sure and leave it down below. And with that said, we'll see you all next time.